and welcome to day 1 of the 12 Days of Christmas Files. I'm super excited to be partnering with Jill from the Scrapaholic once again for this mini-series. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Okay, so today we will be using the bundle Nativity Scenes to make a Christmas card. And even though there are 10 nativity files in this bundle, I will only be showing you one of them, and it is Nativity Scene number 3. So the first thing that I'm doing is I have uploaded Nativity image number 3 into Design Space. So I'm going to select it and come over here to the corner and click on Insert Images. And it is going to upload into Design Space. So right now, this says that the whole piece is 12 by 12, which is a lot larger than I need because the card is going to be much smaller. The cards I'm going to be using are Paper Studio brand, which is Hobby Lobby. They are 50 by, or sorry, they are a 50 pack and they are $10. But they are a size 5" by 6.5. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to resize my piece. So I have reconfigured my size to be a width of 6 by 6.2.5. But that is still not going to be quite small enough. So I'm going to bring my width down to be 5.5. and see if that makes it in my dimensions. It's still not, so I'm going to go over here to my height and I'm going to make it 4.75. And it came down to a 4 by 4 point. So I'm going to start cutting. And because I prefer how my Cricut cuts with my tablet, I'm going to save this in Design Space, and then I'm going to open it on my tablet. So I am going to save this project as Nativity 3 since I'm using Design Option 3. Now that I have my tablet on, I'm going to come up to my categories, Projects in the Cloud, and pull up Nativity number 3. And since it's already the size that I want it, I'm going to head on over, and make it. So I've got my paper. For the gold star, I'm going to use this shimmery yellow. It's actually more of a gold, and it actually has little stars in it's a holographic paper. And I picked this up at the local thrift store for 75 cents for 2 sheets. However, it is Walmart brand and they're normally 2 sheets for $1. Out of my scraps, I also got this kind of lighter brown for the manger, and that was just out of some scrap. And for the silhouettes, I'm going to try and use some vinyl, and this is a glitter blue vinyl. Alright, so now that I've got my paper picked out for the project, I'm going to start cutting. Now, before I start cutting, I am going to take my card and I'm going to background it with some black, I think, just so that it has something to be focused on the back instead of just white. So before I get cutting, let's do this part first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have this kind of peach skin flesh color that I'm going to use to background the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the card up and I'm going to, or you can do it folded, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to place it in the corner and I'm going to trace around the edge so I can cut this out and it will fit on my card. that we have the background of our card, let's get started on cutting the rest of it. We're going to go in order of the colors on the mat. It'll cut yellow, brown, and then blue. So we're going to get started. I will be cutting all the cardstock on Cardstock Plus, but when I get to vinyl, I will be changing the settings because it does cut differently. Okay, so now that everything's been cut, it's time to start assembling our card. Now, I cut everything twice. That's why sometimes you would see me do like a number 2. That is because I always cut everything twice just to make sure that my blade goes through perfectly. All right, we've got all of our pieces cut. Let's get assembling our card. Okay, so I am using a tripod so I can do this hands-free. So I apologize that you can see the leg in the video, but I did it as much as I could to where you didn't have the tripod in the video. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to finish weeding our blue pieces. I've already cut the excess off. You can't really see it too well, but if you hold it up to light after you've cut vinyl, you'll be able to see where it has cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a weeding pick and I'm going to go to the corner and try to peel it up. I've got it peeled up just like this, and I'm going to carefully just remove the excess vinyl from the piece. That way it's all done. So this is ready to be set aside to be put on last. So the first piece that we're going to put down is we're going to put down the manger. Here's our manger piece. And it's just going to simply go right in the middle of our card. I am going to be using art glitter glue, which I have talked about in some of my previous videos. And I'm just going to simply set my card aside so I don't get extra glue on it. And I'm just going to simply put just a little bit on the card piece. And I'm kind of just squeezing very lightly and kind of swishing it around. I do have the metal tip for this that I could have used, but it is kind of difficult to get on and off. So I've got the glue and I've got my card, and I'm going to simply center it in the middle. and give it a slight tap just to make sure that it is well sealed to the card. The nice thing about art glue, sometimes it's the not a good thing about art glitter glue, is that it immediately adheres. So once it's down, there's no moving it. So the second piece I'm going to put is my star. And the star simply goes straight in the middle of the manger. So I'm going to take, again, my art glue, and I'm just going to put a small dot in the middle of the star. And then I'm simply going to place it in the center of the manger. As you can see, I got a little bit too much. Thankfully, it does dry clear, but I'm going to try to kind of fix it just a little bit. We all have adhesive mishaps. Trust me, they happen to all of us, even me. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on my glue and put that away because I am done with it for today. So the next piece I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus. So I'm going to start with Joseph because he goes on the left. And I'm going to simply peel him off very carefully so that I don't rip it. And I'm going to put him on the left, like so, and make sure and get his staff. Be very careful when you peeled him up, just because this staff could break. Now I'm going to take my baby Jesus, because he goes in the center. And then simply place him in the middle, like so. And last is Mary. And be careful with her hand too, because it's very thin and it could potentially rip as well. And lay her right like that. And presto, we have a beautiful card. Now, I prefer to leave my cards blank on the inside just because I never know who I'm going to be giving them to. And this way, if I wanted to use both sides of the card to write a nice letter, I could. If I wanted to simply insert a greeting, I could. It is completely up to you how you would like to do it. Some people, there are holiday stamps you can buy that you could stamp a saying in the center. It is completely up to you how you finish the card. Like I said, I leave mine simply decorated on the outside so that I can do with it can change depending on who I'm giving it to. As you can see, like the tips are kind of coming up. So if I were to make this particular design again, I would probably use a different style of glue pen. I would probably use a zig pen and go all to the points and not use the art glitter glue. I would use this instead. So there is my completed card. So we've completed a card. It was so easy. It only took about 10 minutes. Now, you might say, Lena, 10 minutes for one card. Are you crazy? If you were to say, okay, we're going to make 10 of these, you would take a lot less time to cut them because they would all be cutting at once. So with that, I'd like to say thank you once again to Jill from the Scrapaholic for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check her out in the description below for lots more great files. Tomorrow we'll be back with another great one of her files, so make sure to tune in then. And with that, thank you so much again for watching. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Paper, Scissors, and Vacations Oh My, and we'll see you in the theme park.